Taiwan, Afghanistan, and leadership in a troubled world. Next here in my conversation with Cui Tiankai. Ambassador Cui Tiankai, you describe the Taiwan question as perhaps the most pressing issue within the US-China relationship. What do you think are the consequences of Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan last month?
Dangerous not only for us, but also for themselves and for the entire global community. The key is this one China principle. We in China will make our best efforts for peaceful reunification of the country. But at the same time, we'll do whatever we can. We'll use every means to defeat any attempt to split China and take Taiwan or any other part of China away from the country. This is clear. We have made this clear all along. So I think people who are making such attempts, they have the choice between war and peace. And they owe all of us an honest answer.
Is that reunification likely to happen, say, in the next months, in the next year, or beyond that?
It will happen, but I cannot tell you whether it's going to be next month or next year. Of course, the sooner the better, but as I said earlier, we are still making our best efforts for peaceful reunification.
Nancy Pelosi characterized her trip to Taiwan as one based on values and one based on democracy, as one based on inclusion. Do you think she has a fair argument there? And do you think she was speaking for the United States as the third most senior official in its government?
Whenever US leaders or US officials talk about so-called values and all these things, my first reaction is this is totally hypocritical. They are pursuing what they believe is in the US strategic interest, what they believe will serve US global dominance. They are giving lip service to these values. We mentioned the UN Charter at the beginning of our conversation. All these values are there in the UN Charter: peace, development, justice, fairness, of course, democracy, freedom. But when they invaded Iraq, when they bombed Yugoslavia, when they invaded countries like Syria, Libya, where are these values? They are talking about these values just to try to gain some so-called moral high ground to justify the acts of aggression, the acts of violating other countries' sovereignty and territorial integrity. Last year, they left Afghanistan all of a sudden, after killing so many people in 20 years in Afghanistan, without solving any problem for the Afghan people. Now they're trying to deprive the Afghan people of their own money in the US banks. So how can people be so hypocritical? They are doing all these wrong things and they are talking about so-called values.
If the United States wasn't able to get it right, does China offer an alternative, not only for those countries, but as a way of leadership in the world today?
We believe in a community of nations with a shared future. That means all countries, large or small, strong or weak, rich or poor, we are all equals. And the global affairs should be handled with the participation of all the countries on equal footing. And this is true multilateralism. And we believe in that. We are committed to that true multilateralism. And we are working with others over the years. You see, China sent a large number of troops for United Nations peacekeeping operations. Among the 5 permanent members of the Security Council of the UN, China contributes more troops than the other 4 to UN peacekeeping operations. And we are also making financial contributions to such UN efforts.
I'm James Chau. Keep watching for more interviews with Ambassador Cui Tiankai here on China-US Focus.